Hello YouTube, I'm the Foam Witch, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make Hawkgirl's helmet from the at time of recording new Superman movie. So smash that like button and let's do this. The first thing I did was to come up with a template. I did this by making a messy prototype out of cardboard, but I was so in a hurry to get this video out for the release of the film, I forgot to record that before I destroyed it. Starting the build using this piece that makes the middle. Just to let you know, the template is available for free in the description of this video. The thickness of foam I used is all 5mm apart from one piece which I'll show you later. These three pieces of the templates then got cut out for the middle detail. Then heated up with the heat gun to give them a slight curve. When they got stuck on a little bit lower than the middle section, so this adds a bit of depth. The ends of each of the pieces that have just been shown were cut using an inward bevel cut, but this is all labelled on the template. These pieces then got cut out with a beveled edge at the top to stick to the middle, which should look something like this. Next was this piece to give the top half of the back, and all the bits that I'm pointing to were cut with an inward bevel. The back section was a little bit difficult when sticking it together, but it all worked out in the end. When sticking this piece on, make sure that the detail pieces are stuck slightly lower, just like on the top. Next was this piece to give the eye parts. Obviously, there are two. When cutting out this little triangle, make sure to keep it because if you stick it back in slightly lower, it adds more depth. As you can hopefully see here, I stuck it down about 2mm from the top. The top edge of this part is cut with a straight cut until you get almost to the end, and then it's an inward bevel. And once stuck on, this is how it should look. The middle edge for the beak is cut with an inward bevel. I don't think I used any outward cuts on this. And this is how it was looking once both of the eye parts had been stuck on. Next are these pieces for the side cheek parts. Once you've used this template piece to cut out a base of 5mm, you need to cut this part out and then cut that out of 2mm foam. You then need to stick that on top of the base piece to give something that looks like this. These little pieces then got cut out to give the bottom for the sides. Again, sticking them slightly lower to add depth. Next is this piece for the bottom of the back, with the top line and the edges using an inward bevel cut. Next are these pieces that join together the sides. There are 3 of these on each side, and the slanted edges get cut with an inward bevel, so when stuck together they give this point. These then get stuck in like so. This was a little bit tricky, so take your time with it, and if you have any questions, just ask me. These pieces then get cut out for the eyes and get stuck behind the eye parts that are already on the helmet. It's really starting to come together now. Some more parts for the eyes, and these are cut out of 2mm foam, following the lines, sticking them behind the part that has just been put on. The build of the helmet is now complete and should look something like this. If you're anything like me and are a super messy builder, you're going to want to tidy this thing up before painting, so just take a rotary tool with a sanding barrel attachment and sand down all the edges. Do you have to do this step? No you don't, but will it make your project look even more epic? Yes it will. I really do believe that sanding the edges of your project is one of the best things you can do for foam craft. It just makes your builds look super clean and takes them to a whole new level. If you have any gaps in your seams, which I did on this build, I highly recommend this incredible flexi filler from the awesome Tide Supplies. This stuff has saved so many of my projects over the years. You just add it to the seam you want filling and then dipping your finger in water, you can then smooth it out. Once it's fully dry, I'd say for about 24 hours, you can then also wet sand it. You might want to do about 2 or 3 layers of this to make sure that the seam is properly filled, but this stuff is incredible. It's then time to seal the foam before painting, and I use my favourite sealer, which is black flexi paint, again from Tiger Supplies. This gets brushed on, and I think I used about 4 layers. Once that was fully dry, this is how the helmet looked. The parts that need to stay black then got covered with masking tape. And for the gold, I used this polished gold from Vallejo Paints. As with most of my builds, I did use my airbrush for this, but you don't have to, you can just brush on the gold paint if you want to. I used 4 layers of this paint. Once the gold had fully dried, it was then time to peel away the masking tape. This part is always terrifying, and you have to pray that the paint hasn't bled. However, if it has, and sometimes it does, it's not the end of the world, it's just a little bit annoying to fix. Thankfully, the paint had not bled on this project, so it was now time for a top coat. And I used this gloss top coat sealer, again from Tiger Supplies. And I sprayed this through my airbrush using 2 thin coats. Once the top coat had fully dried, the Hawkgirl helmet was complete. I'm really thrilled with how this turned out. When I first started making it, I was a bit like, oh, it's not very good, but I just trusted the process and it turned out great in the end. It was a little bit tricky, especially with those detail parts at the back, so if you have any questions, please just let me know. If you are still watching this video, I want to give you a massive huge thank you. If you have enjoyed it, if you could give it a thumbs up like, that would be incredible. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel and you enjoy crafting content like this, if you could give it a subscribe now, that would be awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Superman movie. If you go and see it, I also hope you enjoy it. Huge thanks again for watching, and all I've got left to say is, I'll see you next time.